Nerdettes and Nerdlets, and welcome to This Week I'm Learning, the podcast where we discuss interesting things from the week, all while throwing it together minutes before recording. This is episode 75, recorded January 24th, 2022, and I'm your host, Brandon Vader, also known as Captain Drac. Down below me, we have Colton Roper, also known as Seeker4761. I didn't make you last this time. I know.
I went first.
Caddy corner to him, directly next to me, Charlie Stifler, also known as Mulener. Down caddy corner from him, we have Tim Rhind, also known as Fake Farang. And then far in the corner and last, because he is most certainly not least, Cody Stratman, also known as Psychonitrous. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
I just got back from vacation in Tucson.
Oh yeah, you
got to see Colton in person.
You guys get to make sure that each other weren't fake again since last year.
It's true.
Right.
I met all the kids,
For
so now I
of,
know
like,
everyone's
38
real.
minutes.
It's a good 38
For
minutes.
about 38
It was a good
minutes.
38
Nice.
minutes.
I am pretty sure the one-way drive for you to come up and see
Took longer.
me was longer.
It took
than
longer
the
to
time
come
we
and see
spent.
you. But it was worth
But I
it.
appreciate the 2 hours of effort involved in coming to see me.
Yeah, I mean, you flew all the way down here. I figured it was worth a 40-minute drive. So
And pretty damn good barbecue.
damn good barbecue. Holy shit. I love that place, whatever that was.
Bub's Grub, not a sponsor, but you can be.
Hey, we're always taking sponsors, bub.
It's on North Oracle in the Catalinas, just north of Tucson.
If any of our local
Yeah.
Tucson listeners have ever tried that place, freaking try it. Freaking amazing. It's worth the 40-minute drive from where I live, so call that a ringing endorsement.
And Tim, you've been on vacation for the past couple weeks as well. Any interesting tidbits?
Gone for 2 weeks, riding a motorcycle with my wife and side bags and the whole works. We went down south to almost the southern portion of Thailand and slowly made our way back. Would have liked to have stayed longer. There's still so much more to see. But yeah, my background is actually one photo of one of the places we saw.
Oh wow!
Sorry, my audio
Dirty.
probably dropped off as I moved away there.
No, we can still hear you.
It was a great trip. It was the riding was probably a good part of a good part of the fun. I will be making some YouTube videos. Not a lot of destination contents because we only stayed one night in some places, so didn't get enough chance to explore. But I know for sure places where I want to go back next time and maybe spend 3 to 5 days. It's beautiful down south. People say don't go down south, because there's more Muslim people down south. But they're the friendliest people I met so far in Thailand, and some of the nicest places were down south.
They're
So
just,
I highly
everyone's just
recommend it.
happy you're spending money in their area. That's all people want.
No, but that wasn't the vibe you got
That's
from
always
them at
the
all.
cynical. Yeah,
That
that's always the
wasn't the vibe.
cynical look.
I've seen that vibe in hospitality, but it was more they're interested in you there. Yeah, it was really good.
Very cool. Well, good to have you back.
Yeah.
Cody, anything interesting in your week?
Yes, but I'm saving it for a future episode of the podcast. So,
Keep your secrets then.
yeah, keeping my secrets. Sorry.
Yeah. No worries. All right. Well, I guess we should get this kicked off in earnest. This is going to be a discussion episode as we're at episode 75. And we're going to be talking about Star Citizen. If you're watching, four of us have various ships in the background.
Yeah, but
Cody,
he's got the most beautiful. Well, this is the butt end of a Valkyrie, and
Okay.
and me.
Your in-game butt.
Yeah, the butt end of
Your-
the Valkyrie and the butt end of
Sir,
me.
Sir,
and
you-
I guess my
you need to
face.
move your finger. You are fingering yourself.
And I guess the butt end of the planet too. So I think
Inappropriate.
that's micro tick. Yeah.
Okay. So who's
I'm in
gonna
front of my Mustang.
Speaking of butt ends, I'm trying to heal mine after the long ride.
I forgot to ask, what kind of motorcycle do you ride?
Well, some people will say it's not a motorcycle, but like I had an 1100 V-Star in Canada, but it's too expensive to bring over. But I gotta say, I'm really enjoying what I have here. People will call it a scooter. It's a Honda Forza 350.
Okay.
And it moves even with the two of us on there. If I wanted to go 140, I could do it even with all the extra weight, no problem.
Kilometers per hour.
Kilometers per hour, yes.
Yeah.
Which is 80.
So, but we were usually cruising because we're enjoying ourselves around 100 to 110k.
And honestly, that's
which is 65.
Yeah, where you're seeing, at least you get to see the terrain around you. At that speed too.
Yeah.
Like it's a nice speed for driving around Thailand, especially when the scenery.
You're not
is
just going to be
that.
a greasy spot on the ground.
Oh, there's a lot of big curves down there. A lot of curvy roads, really curvy. So you don't want to go too fast. Because sometimes they don't sign them very much, and next thing you know, you're in a hairpin turn. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of fun though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, some people will be snobs about motorcycle versus scooter, but honestly, if you're having to use balance to keep it upright and you're able to do highway speeds, good on you for riding.
Yeah.
So in other words, a crotch rocket is Brandon's powered skateboard. Got it. Because it requires balance. Not that you have it, but it requires balance for you to stay on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my skateboard doesn't do highway speeds. I did specify highway speeds. Because to me, a scooter means like max of 30, 35. You're not going to be going on the highway with a scooter. You're going to be scooting around town.
And also
put a picture up on my background here shortly.
Nothing wrong with a scooter either. I mean, scooters are awesome. They're fucking
absolutely not.
And it's the world is changing. We've got the really fast, like actual scooters that'll do, like some of those will actually do 65 miles per hour now.
Oh yeah, the 750s and so on.
No, I mean like
Ruckuses.
electric,
even the
little electric, like
yes,
like you're standing kind of sideways on it and have the this isn't those things some of those with
those
like
are
the shock absorbers and stuff. I don't know what they're called.
They're push scooters, but they're electric push scooter. Yeah. Stand up scooters.
Anyway.
Right.
Whatever.
So
way off topic. Anyway, Star Citizen.
Let's get back on our topic.
Is it a scam or is it a wonderful game? Discuss.
Boo.
Okay, so I am going to be the dissenter in the group because
that hurts me.
I really don't.
I don't go as hard as you, but I am on more your side on some things than two other people in this group who.
Okay, so we have two people that straight up fucking drank the Kool-Aid. They have the white Nikes, and when the Hellbop is in orbit again, they're gonna take the poison Kool-Aid and go live in the spaceship in the tail of the comet.
And then we've got the gentleman that no matter what happens will always be the naysaying dissenter of the group. So I'm just
incorrect. So I guess we should.
I play the naysayer sometimes, but not always.
To be fair, if we're talking naysaying, we're talking about an adventure, a company that's made just crack the $200 million mark, or is it more? I can't remember.
Oh no,
500.
Oh
yeah.
It's
recently they broke a lot of money. Yeah, how much money has this Kickstarter project raised, basically? As
of right this second, $431,791,645, according to RobertSpaceIndustries.com. Now, if their website does not accurately represent the money they've raised, strike one. So if they're over 500, we're at strike one already.
I thought they only broke four. They only recently broke a milestone recently. I thought maybe it was 400 million, but that was only like a month ago. So they raised $31 freaking million in a month.
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
For what?
So this week they have raised several $1 million. This month they've raised $21 million.
No. That was
Oh, that's November.
Yeah.
November they raised $21 million.
Yeah.
December
that
they
was
raised
CitizenCon.
$10 million. So they have raised $31 million in the last 2 months that are completed. So since January is not completed, it's not on the
So,
chart.
if I remember correctly, this discussion has been a long time coming. We've had multiple side arguments in multiple things, multiple different episodes about Star Citizen. So I guess probably should get a little bit of an overview of what Star Citizen is and like how it started. Because from what I remember, it was started as a Kickstarter campaign, right?
Yes, it was started as a Kickstarter campaign with its ultimate goal being $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is they were going to have basically sell it to other investors to then invest in the project too. And this was basically to get in front of those investors. However, the Kickstarter was incredibly successful, and
wildly successful.
Yeah.
It is the most successful Kickstarter campaign in the history of official Kickstarter.
By far. If I remember correctly. Blew it out
They
of the water.
stopped their stretch goals at $65 million.
Now,
and
they got
all
off
of them.
Kickstarter before that.
But what I'm saying is, like...
Yeah, they kept having...
They had all of their stretch goals announced before leaving Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And they
switched
all of them.
to their own website funding, basically crowdsourcing model after the Kickstarter. So I believe the Kickstarter ended somewhere in the beginning of 2013, and then they switched to their own website. So they were on the website by the time that I backed, which was July 3rd, 2016, or 2013. Sorry, 2013, not 2016.
Yeah.
And the head guy is Chris Roberts.
Chris Roberts.
Okay. Yes,
Chris Roberts, who might be cursorily familiar to some of our viewers, probably not for most of them, which would be he is the screenwriter for the movie Wing Commander, and in addition to that, there are several other games that he has authored,
and also
all
movies.
of which are referenced in the greater Star Citizen lore. All of his projects have Easter eggs in this project.
Yep.
And I believe he also had a part in Lord of War, and there were a couple other movies that he had a hand in as well.
So he has been in the media game for a while.
And a key with Chris Roberts, from what little I know about him with his other game projects specifically, is they've always been ambitious. Like even the original Wing Commander was a very ambitious project for the time, which is what, mid-90s, early 90s? Or earlier, I can't remember.
93, I think.
Original Wing Commander, I think, was the 80s.
Yeah, so...
Original Wing Commander?
What does the Google say?
Yeah, I believe Brandon is currently looking it up right now.
But,
just Wikipedia.
1990
was the original Wing Commander.
Yep.
So
September
this
26, 1990.
So this man has been developing games for a long
Wing
fucking
Commander
time.
Games.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he was also the creator of Freelancer, which is what got most of this group kind of going.
Yeah, we played Freelancer back in our high school LAN days, so in the early 2000s, and we were hugely into that. Now that is a much more arcadey version of what Star Citizen is
hoping to be.
Right, but it's still indicative. His whole body of work in games is indicative of his dream, which sounds like it's the Star Citizen. It's the space sim, basically.
And the presentation that he gave, one of the original ones that I watched, is basically the technology at the time didn't exist to make the game that he wanted to make. So in 2012, it was either late 2011 or 2012 is when he decided to go for Star Citizen, because the technology had finally gotten to the point where he could make the game that he always wanted to make. Now, critics, I will say that one of the most critical points is that Star Citizen, it was an evolving goal. Originally, it was supposed to be exterior ships only, maybe a little bit of on foot, maybe, little landing zones on each planet.
Kind of what Elite Dangerous is currently.
Now, that has changed dramatically from the original pitch, which there are some people that, did the original Kickstarter or pitched early that I can understand why they would be upset, because
so a first start question. So when was that original pitch? What year was that original pitch?
2012. It was October 2012.
October 18th, 2012. Pre-production of the game began in 2010, with production starting in 2011.
So it's been 11 years, technically, since production began on this game. I'm sure the concept has been around
years, but yeah.
So this kind of brings me to one of my issues with the game and the overall process is an average game takes 3 to 5 years to develop. And I know Star Citizen is a very big scope of a game. But even a big scope game, quote unquote big scope game, 6 to 7 years is considered unacceptably long, honestly, at least from a development standpoint. And we're talking 11 years for a game that is still an alpha and still has very basic problems with it. That, with how much money they've made, it's hard. It's hard to. It seems like, and this has been a particular criticism of Chris Roberts in the past as well, because he's so ambitious. He's been accused of mismanaging money, not having clear goals, mismanaging teams. And there's a lot of accusations of that with Star Citizen as well, at least from some backers and as well as a lot of tech journalists, game journalists, or if you want to call them journalists. Mm-hmm. So that's one major issue that that people seem to have with this game right now.
Is it not fully functional, you mean?
No,
it is technically an alpha game.
Yep.
So
think Steam early release, early access.
The gigantic thought process is that you have a mini Star Wars sized galaxy that you have a list of dozens of known systems and the potential to explore and discover and establish new jump points for new systems, procedurally generated and whatnot. We currently have one system.
Oh.
We have one system that over a quarter of the users of the game cannot play for more than 35 minutes straight before a game fatal flaw. 30% of users report.
And to be fair, they're not claiming it is as a complete game. It's still in development. No. It's not even in beta, which is pretty much a final product at that point when it gets to beta. It's still, they acknowledge that there's a lot of issues still.
But are you seeing any progress on a regular basis?
Yeah. And before we move too far past this, I want to respond to a few things Colton said. So one of them is you're equating the Star Citizen development to other developments where they already have full teams in production. The size of the studio when that initial pitch was made was like 10, 13 people. So the studio has built up, and as well as the scope of the game changing dramatically.
I acknowledge that the game is different.
It is no longer
acknowledge
using
that.
the same engine as
I acknowledge that entirely. I understand it's a much bigger scope. It's massive scope. But a lot of people paid for a certain thing, and it got to the point. I mean, Charlie already mentioned it. They had stretch goals at one point. Every 5-10 million, depending on whatever.
It was actually
even way less than that. It was
it? Yeah. And
it was
actually
increments.
It was actually at like
hundreds.
There's
of
a
thousands
couple
at
that are
first.
only 250,000.
Right, and
Yeah.
these
Different
stretch goals were
initially.
like a good portion of them were like a gun that you got. I mean, cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. That was a lot of fun. I liked
Some of
those
them
stretch
were,
goals.
but not the majority.
Here's just because I kind of want to read the first, like, I don't know, let's just do the first 5 stretch goals. So at 2 million regular community updates, citizen with appropriate packages get to play in the multiplayer dogfight module. Citizens with appropriate package will receive a 30 mission Squadron 42 campaign upon release. At 2.5 million, Star Citizen will feature an additional flyable ship, Anvil Gladiator. Then 3.25, Star Citizen will feature an additional flyable ship, Miss Starfarer. 3.5, cockpit decorations, ship boarding. So this is the first time we really see, like, hey, this is going to be full-on first-person, everything physicalized because of shipboarding, internal, and all that. Their next one was just a Geos Dynamics Retaliator. Next one, increased mission count. But then on this 5th one, Star Citizen Universe, 40 systems for persistent online play upon release. That's...
And we have one.
We have
12 years
one
later.
barely playable system.
Yeah.
That
Also, like, if you take into, like, Cody's point about the number of developers, okay, how many years have they had the number that they have now, which is well over 300?
They
if you
have
count all of the different
604
studios.
right now.
Okay, 604 counting all of their contractors or just counting RSI employees?
they're what, three locations? I can't remember. They have 3 or 2.
Yeah, they got
more than that.
They,
3
they've
main,
got,
because
because
like
they've
main
got,
ones.
They've got Austin. They've got LA.
LA.
They've got
Frankfurt.
in the UK, somewhere in the UK.
Yep.
Okay. So if you take into account that the average production time pipeline for a AAA game is 2 to 4 years, with 70 to 300 developers, and their production budget is somewhere in the ballpark of $60 million.
Now, how many AAA games within the last 5 years would you say that you have played that on day one played the way it was supposed to,
Nope.
and
Right.
and has
I'm not
the
asking for day
scope?
one. I'm asking for within a reasonable position
Oh,
of
yeah.
launch. So six months after launch, let's look at every Call of Duty game, every Halo game, every.
The keyword is launch.
Yep. And
Yeah,
what's
I'm just saying.
yeah? Oh no. And here's the other thing. What's the average scope of a AAA game right now?
Right.
So that's dependent on the
Call
genre.
of Duty,
Like,
name your episode.
We'll say like
Right.
Cyberpunk, Halo Infinite,
Yeah.
Forza. Those are like the big. I mean, there's a bunch, but let's just say those. Yes, the scope is a lot smaller, but we're talking about if the goal is 40 usable systems at time of launch.
and actually,
which-
they upped it to 100.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's even
later
more
on.
ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure once they fix one, they're going to be able to procedurally, or well, they're not going to proceed.
No,
They're
here's the
crafting
thing.
this, right?
There's
There's
a lot of tool.
But there's more. If you look at the updates, if you look at the 2016 Citizen Con, we know that there's another system that has been in development, the Lier system, because they featured that then. We know that there's the Odin system because of Squadron 42. We've seen
5
work
years
on
ago.
progress
So 5
on
years
that.
ago, there was some footage
Yes.
of a system, and we still
Yes,
don't see it.
5 years
One
ago.
system.
5 years ago, we are aware of that, which means that there are more that we don't know about.
So
Okay.
Although I
mean,
can't
I know
speak-
that's a
Value.
weird argument, but
So
the tech
taking it at face
to
value.
transition. Okay, sorry.
if we take it at face value and partition that procedurally generated universe with unique crafting points of being able to fly all around an entire fucking planet and not just one landing zone. That's hard. Cool. All right, let's chunk this apart, put it in a box of they're special, cool. Tell me why Star Marine doesn't work.
Why doesn't Squadron 42 work? What's the
why is Squadron 42 12 years in development and I haven't seen actual gameplay? I've only ever seen trailers with Mark Hamill.
There's been
gameplay. There's vertical slice. Look at
do any of us have access to gameplay?
Slice.
Do
No.
any of us have okay?
No.
Now, when was Squadron
but
42 supposed to come out? This is
originally
to be fair, this
2015. Originally
Okay.
2015.
The scope didn't get much. Now I got to ask a question because you guys know how much bigger did the scope get from 2015 to 2022? 7 years down the road, when this game was the first person single player experience, which I would argue is an easier thing to develop than a multiplayer breathable universe. That's just fact. I'm sorry. So how much bigger did the scope of that particular system, that single player experience, how much bigger did the scope of that get, to the point where they haven't even announced a possible release date. It's not even on their own timeline / roadmap, which are whole bullshit in itself, and that's more of a gaming bullshit thing. I hate roadmaps because they're lies and free PR, trying to weasel out of doing the work. That's the question I have there. I'm not, and I think I probably speak for Charlie too. We all want this game to exist. We really do.
I want the game to exist. To be more successful than
are there any
anyone in this group?
Are there any? I've had a number of questions, but
go for it.
One just popped up. Are there any large software developer companies that have invested in this project? And if not, why not, do you think?
So there has been some private funding that was added in
2020, I believe.
Yeah, 2020. But as far as any of the development studios or stuff like that, Star Citizen Robert Space Industries has basically said that they don't. Yeah, sorry.
The name
Cloud Imperium Games does not want outside interference at this point. That was initially a thing. That was the initial Kickstarter, was that they were going to basically take that $2 million, polish what they had to basically show a company, and then have that company help.
Yeah, the private funding that happened in 2020 was somewhat controversial because of that. Back in 2014, it was either 2013 or 2014 where they said we don't need to do this, and then at 2020 they do. Now, if you take, and I did this a while back when they had 400 employees, if you take, and they were up to like 100 and something million, if you take that and then you divide that by the salary of each of the programmers, when you estimate that they're making, $70,000 per year, and then you look at the cost of the studios, if this is a scam to get people's money, this is one of the worst scams ever made.
Oh no!
Well, do you feel like they're I don't know how much of this game is playable, but do you feel that they, like you say, they will show you a video or something, and then you don't see it delivered? Do you think that's coming out when subscriptions are starting to drop, or is it
so? Like as
some
it stands
cookie
right
to keep you
now,
going?
I don't think anyone in this group, less Tim that doesn't have an opinion on it per se, thinks that this is a scam. I'm not in the this.
No,
is a scam.
It's.
I'm firmly in this is incompetence.
At the very least, mismanagement of leadership, and at least that's what I believe. No, they're gonna make a game. They technically have a game now.
Yep,
that's a lot of effort to put into a scam.
You can fly this ship. You can land on this planet. You can go into a bunker, and the bunker may or may not have NPCs that spawn correctly.
So production strategy might just be all over the place then, instead of
Yeah, and they had
Yeah.
some
Which
serious setbacks in 2015 when they hired a company out of Denver, Colorado to do the FPS element of the game. And basically what happened was they built the game to their levels and their FPS elements of the game to the wrong size. The wrong physical size limitations, and it wouldn't work in the engine of the game. So everything that company did basically got tossed out, which was a major setback. So yes, I agree. There was some mismanagement when that happened. As far as in the last couple of years, I'm happy with the progress that I am seeing. Because there was a point in time, I would say I haven't been to the degree that Charlie is right now, but I would say that I got to the point where Colton was for a little bit, and then because the game was completely unplayable for me. Unfortunately, Charlie is still having some of those issues. As of right now, I didn't, as the TWIL last week, I did 6 hours in the game without crashing, and that is becoming my norm experience.
Right, but
Yep.
you also
Now,
mentioned
bunkers
how many
not
people
spawning things
Okay.
that,
So
like, game features not working within that without the game crashing itself, but certain features not working definitely is an issue.
Yep.
Okay, I've just went through the painstaking process of securing my desktop. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to minimize Discord.
full
and you're
screen
going to
that?
see what my
Psycho?
background desktop is.
Okay, let me pull that up.
Do you see what my desktop is?
Well, hold
Ooh.
up.
Yeah.
Like,
Very nice.
I think you're overestimating me. Am I mad? Yes. Am I not going to play Star Citizen when it's playable when my kids graduate college? I'm still going to play. But I want everyone to have a firm grasp in reality that this shit is not coming out next year.
No.
Or,
No.
Or really
Well,
before 2030. I would
and
be
2030
amazed.
sounds more accurate than anything, and that's 20-something years in development. The technology is going to change. By the time this game comes out, there's a real chance the technology is going to blow past it.
Yeah, there's a real chance that this is going to look shitty compared to everything else that's happening when it happens. And
I don't know.
The best part is that we're going to have voice acting from Gillian Anderson and Mark Hamill and Gary Oldman.
That's a whole other thing.
and
They're all going to be dead.
Exactly. They're going to be dead, and they're not going to be able to make the fixes with those voice actors, and they're going to be stuck with what they fucking have.
Yeah, like that. I remember that was a whole big thing. They got all these great actors, all these science fiction actor heroes, and it was the coolest freaking thing.
But you know
back
what?
when they actually had a release date.
You know what? Val Kilmer has. There's a new technology and a new device they're using to give him back his voice because he lost his voice in throat cancer or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where you just get a voice actor to say a whole bunch of different words.
Right.
It sounds
They basically
like old.
sit in a voice booth for 8 hours
Yeah.
and say a good section of the Merriam-Webster dictionary in a very specific order.
Yeah,
and
I
it
mean,
gets
different
the
that's
tones
cool.
and so on.
inflection.
That's
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you
some
could
interesting
still
moral
copy somebody's
questions,
voice.
but there's definitely some interesting stuff with that. But
Yeah, you still don't have their pose, the way that they walk, the actual
And-
other
and
acting
not to
components.
mention-
well, yeah, but they
To
can.
throw back to another episode, you have the uncanny valley that you'll have to overcome at that point.
It's not as bad with audio, as weird as that is, but with visual stuff,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah, because you're
Terrible.
going to
Yeah,
set
but
up
you're
with
going to have
modeling.
yeah. You're going to have the
Well, heck, by the
Mass
time the game
Effect
comes out, we may have mastered
Dead-Eye.
that shit. So who the hell knows? It's a frustrating thing to talk about, honestly. Just because. And yes, the scope has blown out of proportion. That's a management issue. That is a pie in the sky manager not understanding that,
scope creep.
like, that's their problem. That's not anyone else's fault but theirs. That is a leadership failure, if you ask me. The fact they let the game get so big that it doesn't have a timeline for release. 8 years, 10 years, Probably, maybe. That's a failure of leadership. The mismanagement of funds is a failure of leadership. It isn't to discredit all the work that these guys are putting into it. The game is a beautiful slideshow. I mean, gorgeous screenshots, a very cool concept. Just finish it.
Yeah,
And the fact they made $31.
I mean,
There
I'm
are areas
getting
where
more
it's
praise.
you also have a 3000 series card, and that's a whole nother
Laptop.
issue. This game is
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It's still a very powerful machine. That's a whole nother issue. You're gonna have a very powerful machine to play this game at any decent frame rate. I mean, it's an alpha game. I know they might optimize it, but that's
Here's the
Yep.
and another point is, I mean, what happens? If Gary Oldman and Mark Hamill and Gillian Anderson all get in a car accident and die together, that'll suck for those elements. But if Sandy Gardner or Chris Roberts die, this project kabooms.
Not really.
I don't think
I
it
don't
has
think
the
so.
spiritual
Roberts.
leadership.
They've got Aaron Roberts. They've had a lot of
Ironic.
other-
I think it might run better. Sorry, I hate to say it. I don't wish any ill will on
I
the
don't
men.
think you have the
Yep.
spiritual leadership that'll keep it true to what you're wanting it to be.
Maybe.
Yeah, now that I do agree with. I think if something were to happen, that the project would continue on, but it may not be the same.
Star
Is-
Citizen in name only.
I don't think it would be that bad. Honestly, I think
Yeah,
it would lose
because
some of its
Aaron has finished
far-reaching
things-
goals.
And Aaron has finished things that Chris has started before. So it's not... That's not out of the realm of complete possibility. And everybody knew when... Not everybody, sorry. A lot of people understood that when Aaron joined the team, that was supposed to be, like, the timeline kind of crunching down on this, but clearly that has not occurred.
They don't believe in finishing the game.
No.
Not really.
I actually have Aaron's signature right there.
See, Charlie, we're dealing with fanboys. It's like talking to a brick wall sometimes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
swear.
Yeah,
Kidding.
whale fanboys.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I have wanted this game since I was 13 years old, and I was walking down the street with my friend Jacob Spallinger, and I was like, what happens if there was a game where you had spaceships, but you could go inside the spaceship in first person? That is how long I have wanted this game, since the late 90s. I know that may not sound like a long time for some of our older.
We're talking. We're talking
viewers,
Star Citizen.
but-
We're talking
Yeah.
lifetimes, bro. We're talking lifetimes.
I am roughly that same time frame, like the late 90s, going, hey, this Unreal Tournament thing is really cool. Hey, Microsoft Flight Sim 98 is really cool. Wouldn't it be cool if you could fly around on alien planets, first-person mode, like Flight Sim, where you can look down and flip all the toggles and do all that stuff, and then get out of that plane or spacecraft a la Unreal Tournament and go kill a bunch of shit.
See that?
Sounds like Star Trek.
Yeah,
These
don't
things
know what-
exist, guys.
He's saying Halo,
These
but
exist.
Oh, okay. Oh God, this is
Here's-
No.
you're about to trigger a soap.
but there is. Hey, you know what? Halo's made 4 games two games in the time it's take since 2012. I'm saying since 2012.
Halo Wars 2, and then 3 first-person shooters.
Okay, they
The
made 5
original
games.
Halo
I have a question
has
about the game.
no right
We're
to
not-
be what it. Okay.
Doesn't matter. It's still. Yeah, that's.
Okay,
yeah,
Tim,
the-
you go. Since
So you guys got money invested in this one way or another.
yes,
some
so
way less
does-
than
Yeah.
others.
it's not.
does
yeah,
that-
it's not
now,
investment.
is
it's,
Let me put it in context of monetary.
Is there enough gameplay right now to keep you interested in playing? If you were able now, and if you let your subscription lapse,
there's
does
no subscription.
It's not subscription based.
Yeah.
no?
It's
I'm
you
sorry.
buy a
Did
ship.
you guys cancel your subscriptions?
What I want
For all
to
the
do
extra
is
stuff.
The only
Which is-
subscription.
if you don't put money
the
in
only
every year, Will you lose all your acquired stuff?
No. It's you buy a ship to essentially you're buying the right to play the game by buying a ship in its the current system. I have no real problem with that system.
No,
what's
not
the most
by far.
expensive ship? Isn't it like a 2,000?
The
like
one
the most
behind
expensive
you
package.
right now.
Yeah, the Javelin.
$2,500
for
the
a
Javelin
virtual thing that does not exist. That's some iffy stuff in itself.
If you think this is bad, you need to look at Star Atlas.
I have a problem with that
yeah.
too. I don't
NFT based bullshit.
Yeah, and it's the same thing to me. Point is, it's iffy at best and nefarious at worst.
Now, I still have the same game, albeit a different ship that somebody, and this, we're going to lead into another side of this topic here too. So if I pledge for the cheapest spaceship that gets you a game package, because game packages and not spaceships are not, God, I want to say it in Thai for some reason, are not the same. So a spaceship may come with the game or it may not. Most of the expensive ships do not come with the game. Yep. Now, the ship behind Charlie here, that comes with a game package. So he pays $45, he gets the Mustang, he gets the game. Okay?
Yep.
That is the same game as somebody who pledges $2,500 behind Colton and gets that ship. Well, kind of that ship. A stripped down version of that ship. However, that doesn't even come with the game if you get the one behind Colton. So you have to
if you're spending $2,500 for $50, I mean, come on.
You don't care about the extra $50 or whatever to get the game package.
Right.
It is the same game, but you may have access to different ships. And here's where another thing we get into is called pay to win. And with Star Citizen, I believe it's a pay for experience. I do not believe it's actually a pay to win. Even if you're going to go combat dogfighting, somebody in your little Mustang now against a javelin, like you
who would win that fight, Cody? That's pay to win. That's by definition pay to win. If someone in a javelin who paid $2,500, I'm just saying. No.
The javelin has himself in a javelin, and the person has the Mustang. The javelin is not going to go anywhere or be able to fight. Nobody is winning.
Okay.
The other person wins.
Pause. So, if I spend, I don't know how much your redeemer costs, or not your redeemer, but your reclaimer costs, and I fly in game for about 2 hours, I will make enough money to buy about 5 of these. Whereas if I fly this thing for about 2 hours, I will have enough to rearm this thing once.
No.
I will not have enough to buy another one of these things. The economy of scale is what makes it pay to win. Because if at the end of the day, he who has the most shit wins.
If you do ECN missions for $20,000 a pop, you are easily refitting that and buying a new ship within a few hours of game.
And then you mentioned pay to experience. So if me who bought a what was it, the Hornet or whatever, I paid whatever $80 or whatever at the time. I don't even remember. It was so freaking long ago I paid for this thing. Love that thing, by the way. Love it. I will not get to experience the Javelin.
Yep.
So I'm not getting the same
correct.
Game. Now, yes, I can steal one, apparently. Right, but the point is, it's still tiers of payment, tiers of game. I'm not getting the same game experience as someone who has more money. It's not pay to win, but it's pay to experience. The 2,500 person is going to get to fly every damn thing in the game. I am never going to get to fly one of those javelins anytime soon. Granted, that person isn't either because it doesn't really exist in game. Well, actually, it's a lie, but You can't own
no,
it.
it's
as
only
of
the
now.
exterior. It doesn't really exist in game because it's only the exterior model exists.
Point is,
it's not
whatever.
even Grey
That
Box.
point still stands. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's iffy in itself, and that's more of a game, just overall industry problem. So I'm not blaming this particular on Star Citizen, but it is an issue. To be fair, I mean, simple as that.
Yeah, and I
Now-
see that. Go ahead, Brandon.
I want to bring up a counterpoint to this because, yes, so somebody pays $2,500 for the ship behind you, Javelin, let's say 10 years from now or whatever we want to call it when everything's in game and whatever. They're not going to be able to crew that effectively to play.
One of the selling points of that was that they're going to get a bunch of NPCs.
Yes.
To crew it, and they will be good enough because if they're gonna give them decent NPCs because they paid $2,500 for the damn game. That would be the dumbest thing in the world to not give them a good experience. I'm sorry, like
They still have to buy
Right,
each of the
but-
NPCs. They have to pay for the crew of the NPCs.
Which
There are costs. to
Doing
running
the missions
NPCs.
that ship will allow you to do
But
will recoup that cost and much more. Otherwise, having that ship at all is completely untenable. So the nullification argument is invalid.
But
what I'm
three people
trying to get at.
or even a single person, the ship behind Brandon, will be able to take it out.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't understand what you're saying,
Brandon,
Brandon. What do you
go.
mean?
Yeah, so what I was trying to get at is that even though you spend that amount of money in the game, there's other factors to consider to what your play style is. Because that person, what if they just want to man the main turret on that ship? They're going to have to go through all of the... Hear me out. They're going to have to go through all of the management, all of that back-end management to get NPCs, to get orders, to do this whole other thing.
Right, and I understand that.
Which your average person may not even want to partake. They might want to just hop in one of the single-seater ships, go out and play. I don't like the idea that just because somebody has spent more or less money, they're going to be inherently happier with their experience.
It's not about happier. It's about value. I'm paying for a game. They're getting more out of the game than I am. By definition,
But-
they have extra content I won't get to experience. At least
Okay, so billionaires in the United States get to send themselves into space with penis-shaped rockets. And
Correct.
does
I don't
that
know what you're
make
trying
does that make your life inherently
I don't
less
own a
value?
spaceship, but I own the same
know.
game that other person does.
You own the same life essence as that person who went to space.
That's a whole nother thing. Do not.
But I'm saying
So
it doesn't inherently devalue your experience of life. It is, yes, something that you point at and go, wow, wouldn't it be cool to do that? Yeah, I probably
Right,
won't
but we're
be able
talking
to.
a video game. We're talking something I paid money
So-
for that I'm expecting a product back for.
okay,
And go ahead.
Cody, Brandon, please take a moment to collect your thoughts. Give me an example of a pay-to-win game that you cannot make the exact same arguments that you're making for right now. And Colton, feel free to finish your point. I apologize for interrupting.
No, you're good. I forgot my point.
Or, Tim, in the meantime, do you have any questions or anything so we don't have silence? Well, Brandon and I are thinking. So,
I'm interested in this point because I haven't joined the game yet. Because mostly I hadn't had any time, and unlike some of you, I mean I'm in retirement, so I can't. I don't want to enter a black hole of or paying money into something in order to enjoy it
And
be able
like
to participate
to be
fully.
clear, Tim, you could buy the game, and you don't. There's no subscription. It's you have the game. Like, as far as I know, they're not planning on doing it like a subscription-based model later. You buy the game just like you buy any other game. You have access to that game. So that's not a.
So
The numbers we're talking is a whole other can of worms.
basically, and
Okay.
to answer you, Charlie, any pretty much any phone game. Any phone game where the experience is to pay for, like, O-game.
Give me a AAA game.
A triple...
Give me any AAA game where you say pay to win.
Star Trek Online.
Okay, so Star Trek Online. How is that pay to win when I could do all the same things with no pay to win and get all of the things? It just takes me a lot more time. Blah 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 blah. Right?
The grind
you're just
of
getting a different
javelin.
experience than I am.
I mean,
so here's the issue. Your skill level in Star Trek Online plays so little into the actual gameplay because it's all hotbar based. It's all whoever has the better equipment inherently wins a battle.
Not who
There
is
is
the best.
absolutely
Who is the best.
zero skill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is
Now,
in Star Citizen,
if
I am better at doing this physically with my finger, with my hand, or better
with
at
your
doing this
$600 joystick.
Okay, or better at doing this. Okay, are we going to argue that mice are paid to win?
You're right. So equivalent classes of ships, let's say equivalent classes of ships, or no, sorry, equivalent classes of skill. Let's say with that. One person has a better ship. Who's going to win that fight more often than not?
in equivalent skill, your person with
which
the
most
better
people are going to
equipment
be
will
average. Most people are going to be average. There's going to be some people who can fly like amazing, do all these super cool things, and there's going to be people at the bottom who play the game for some reason. I don't know, but most people are going to be somewhere in the middle.
Right. But you cannot just throw money at Star Citizen to give yourself such a huge advantage because of the way ships are balanced against each other. For instance, everybody is going apeshit nuts right now because they nerfed the Ares Ion. Now, to some extent, I'm a little upset that they nerfed it as much as they did. Because there were
9 times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It will.
And then wait for somebody.
I'm saying
in the
right
Arrow
now.
Fair
to
enough.
come up.
Exactly.
Fight the Anvil Arrow, which is a $60 ship or something like that in your $200
$300 ship.
See, so people are already expecting, and maybe that's a failure of understanding what's going on. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
Well, no, I'm saying you're right. That is, people are so used to pay to win games, even though so many of the community is like, this isn't pay to win, and I agree. It's not pay to win. It is play to experience. I will grant you
and
that
go to, when
you
the
and I are
Javelin
not
is
going to have the
flyable,
same experience.
And when the Javelin is flyable, go to any port where there's going to be somebody that calls a Javelin that's like, please man a fucking turret or fly this ship for me so I can sit in the med bay of it or do this. This already happens in game. People with 890 jumps go into port and go, please get on my ship, fly the ship for me. I see it all the time when I am in the universe.
I would
Do you
love
have to
to be
pay
able to see
cash
that.
to replenish your ship?
No.
Not
In-game
real
currency.
money, no.
In-game
currency
that you earn. It's
Yeah.
Yep.
no,
There-
it's not.
so-
There's no
And
microtransactions
that's
as of
easy
now, which is
to
a
replenish
positive.
missiles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
so-
a positive for Star Citizen. As far as I know, they're not going to do microtransactions, which is a great
Correct.
thing. 100%. 100% agree with that.
Skins,
Okay.
yes, they do for like special
serious?
paint stuff.
Cosmetics.
You're right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But
But the theory is that eventually in-game, what I've heard over and over again is that in-game, when it fully launches, yes, there will be certain pre-done packs that you can do, kind of like Forza. You can buy special skins, or if you want to take the time to customize it yourself, you can get the exact same experience. But yeah, there will be a difference of experience, but it's not. I don't know.
be happy
don't
with your
see-
peanuts, poor person. It's fine. The rich are sad. They're miserable. I'm making fun of you. It's fine.
No,
I understand.
I
I understand what you're saying, but that's it can be misconstrued as that.
Money does not
To
buy
some
you
extent, it
happiness,
can.
but it is much more pleasant to cry in the captain's chair of a javelin than the pilot seat of a Mustang.
And I know all of us, if we had a person who's bitching and wants someone to help fly their javelin, we're all getting on that fucking ship.
Oh,
that.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
they're not going to have
and
trouble
I'm going to find a way
crewing.
to kill that person and
And
take their ship permanently.
if they ever get more
Because
than 50
capitalism.
if they ever get more than 50 goddamn people in a freaking server, it won't be that big a deal to crew a javelin. That's part of the problem. Is there's only 50 people in a server. I know it's alpha. We're not going to talk about that.
Another question.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. I didn't know when to
No.
interrupt there. Learning curve. You guys have been in this for a while. Is it a difficult learning curve for somebody starting off? And is it one of these cases where too many online games, it's like, okay, you die every 2 seconds or something, you know what I'm saying?
So
it becomes no
the-
fun.
If you can fly a plane in
learning curve.
Microsoft Flight Simulator, you can turn on a plane and launch it. Like, turn on the engines and fly. You can do the hardest task in Star Citizen.
It's not DCS.
I disagree to some extent, because if you get into anything that deals with physicalized inventory, it gets
weird
the
right
the
now.
learning
in its
curve
current
on
state.
physicalized
but
inventory is
that's-
pretty weird.
Is there
I
a
find
way
that
for
as-
new people
as-
to learn
Yeah.
without?
So
YouTube videos,
Yeah,
Yeah.
YouTube videos. They
there
don't
is
have a good
not
tutorial.
a tutorial.
yeah,
Most
there's
because
a
they know they're going to
tutorial-
change the game, so they're not going to waste time on that.
Yeah.
So boys, we are at the hour. I do want to make one last point and see what you guys think about it.
We probably have about
Oh.
15 more minutes because
I know.
we started.
that's why he's
Oh,
making
yeah.
a point.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay. Yeah.
So the last problem I have, and it's more about the timeline scale. I am worried that a game like this that we've been playing off and on for years now, and because there is a basic game, it's out there, it's got issues, but you can play it. I am worried about the hype / getting bored of the game issue. Because we've played other games, not like this, but we played other games where we're really into it for a little while, and then we just stop playing because there's thousands of games out there, and we're all busy people. That's part of the issue I have with the game on a timeline of this scale, and it is the first time that a game of this scale has ever been tried where they're showing pre-beta builds, they're pure alpha, barely even alpha builds. I'm worried that at some point 5 years down the road, we're going to be bored as shit of the game, and then once it finally comes out, great, Star Citizen's is out. That's been
It's
the
gonna
fun
leave with
30
a
years.
whimper. It's
Yeah.
gonna leave with a whimper.
It's
Sorry, I'll make a point on that, because if you look at the long-term success of the game, they have to bring new content. And if the development is any indication of how they're going to do content or just making basic gameplay, how long is it going to take to get DLC to keep it interesting? And I know that's maybe they have a plan for that, but that's something I'm also worried about is once the final product comes out, they're still going to support it, I hope, for a decent amount of time, for the amount of time, hopefully longer than, at least as long as they've taken development. Are they going to be able to make content at a decent rate that isn't going to break the game, for one thing, because it's a super complicated game, and also be interesting enough to warrant the 20, 30-year development cycle?
Donations.
So-
And is it going to be financially viable, do you think? Is it going to someday they say, oh, we're closing down before they get to that point?
as much money is still going into development, I don't see that being an issue yet. Colton, that is one thing I worry about too, though. And that's why I don't play it a lot right now. And it's because even though right now, yes, there is a functional gameplay loop, you can mine, you can do bounty hunting missions, you can do all of this really cool things, and there are missions in the game. You can make money. You can actually buy ships in the game right now and experience different levels by starting out low. And honestly, like right now, if you have a mid-tier ship, it's actually kind of harder than some of the starter ships to make money in those bigger
mining
ships.
in a prospector is one of the best ways to make money. Waza's bought a new Vanguard and fitted it out with all of custom stuff from just mining in the base mining ship.
Yeah. But I think my personal big takeaway from it is even if I play it right now and get bored with it, there's always another patch down the road that kind of pulls me back into it of like, oh hey, what have they fixed? What have they added? What is, like, right now I'm super excited to get in the game and try out the Gravlev bikes because they just added that, and that's kind of a cool thing. It's something new. It's a new way to experience the game from a lot different level of detail.
Like at this point, that's fascinating because it is technically new content because we're getting, hopefully they're developing the game they promised they would build. My worry is, like I said, once the game is out, once we've already experienced all these things that we've been doing for years, then what? To that point, most of the build-up right now, most of the problems production-wise, is the back-end technology.
And also
they are exactly.
The last few years, there was the reason why it's taken so long is as the scope of it. This is part of it. As things changed on the game, they decided they needed new tools, and it's optimizing their internal development. So they create new tools for creating the game. And as they do that, there's a disproportionate, basically, curve to them creating content to the tools that they make, because the tools they make helps them quickly replicate stuff. And this is why I'm adamant about the stuff that there's clues that there's lots of different systems that are being worked on in the game right now. Yep. Rather than just the Stanton system that we are seeing, because they tools for replicating all of this. The Pyro
and we're on
almost done right now too, and that's the Dex system.
Yep. Their biggest blocker right now is the server convergence. Yeah, server meshing.
To get more than 50 people on a server. Yeah.
Because if you have a server that has Pyro and Stanton, and you only have 50 players between those two systems now,
you're never gonna find
how lifeless is that going to feel?
Yep.
And then part two of that is the technology even there to do it correctly? I mean, I'm sure it is, but is it?
That is
and
a
then it's the same
discussion.
Then it's the same problem that Chris Roberts had when he first developed the game, and then we haven't gotten anywhere. And we'll always end up with this it's half-assed at this point. I know they're developing it, but...
Yep. I think that's fair. That's fair to say.
And it is, when you're talking on the time scale of, again, lifetimes, or at least school lifetimes, 12 grades, that's stuff you got to worry about, and at what point is it unsustainable?
When I first got involved in Star Citizen, I did not have children. I have 3, and the oldest is now 13. That's a problem. Like, I joke about
you have too many kids? You
getting to. No, the problem is, like, it's.
So.
I am not going to see this game before my oldest is graduated college. I could die in a car accident before this game is ever in existence. And yeah, I get that's a problem all over the place. But, like, for you guys to have sunk as much time, effort, and energy and money into this game to get what you've gotten so far is fucking piss poor.
Here's the counterpoint.
That's my ending point.
Here's the counterpoint to that, Charlie. Why not ask Cody or I? Like, right now, if something were to catastrophically happen to us, would that be our biggest regret in life?
Fuck no. But it would be in the top 20.
No. Not even fucking close. I wouldn't care.
I care more about games.
I'm trying to think of your ex-girlfriend's names. Hold on. Okay, it's right between 2 of them from college that I'm thinking of. It's right in there.
Okay. I care more about. I regret more buying Duke Nukem Forever for $40 when it was on sale, and which was a finished AAA game when it finally came out, or any number of so-called AAA games that I played once and went, oh, this is complete crap. I care more about that than the several thousand that I have pledged into Star Citizen.
You better hope Star Citizen doesn't turn into one of those crap games. It
already
chance.
hasn't. I've already had better gameplay in Star Citizen than I've had in any of those
Until
games.
they reset everything, they put a new bug, and it fucks everything up.
Even that.
It doesn't change the past.
You know what? Exactly.
That's the thing.
Playing it till this point,
suck. I would be pissed. But I have already had better gameplay in Star Citizen than I have in a lot of those AAA games.
Okay, that's fine. You guys are...
Command & Conquer 4.
Weird.
I was so pissed when I bought that. And they're like, oh, you now have a unit cap in Command & Conquer 4. I was outrageously pissed.
So... You know what my the one game I regret the most buying? What was that? Wasn't it like Starforged? Wasn't that what it was called?
Yeah.
So that game was supposed to be this, you were going to eventually get a star system. It was kind of the voxel based, almost like Space Engineer.
You're going to get 100 systems.
Minecraft.
You're going to be able to do all these things. You're going to be able to do everything. It's the same thing.
No. Here's the thing. I played that game in early alpha with Cody, I think one or two of you.
I probably
Colton,
own it.
were you in it? Yeah,
probably.
They're kind of the same core group that has played Star Citizen, and I remember getting into that and thinking, all of us thinking almost simultaneously, 2 hours in, going, yeah, this isn't here. This isn't worth it. And that was all we ever played. And then it sat in production hell and got released as the unfinished shit that it was.
Hellion.
Oh God, Hellion.
That's a sad story. Yeah, Star Citizen could become that. Now that is, I think, their argument, is Star Citizen could become Hellion with so much potential and just die. I don't think that is going to happen.
I will make a request that with your closing points, I would like to hear Cody's most critical piece of feedback about Star Citizen, same with Brandon, and I want Colton and I to come up with the biggest fucking compliment we can.
Yeah, we'll do that in the pluggables. I like that.
Okay. So start thinking about that.
Because in the end, as I've already said, we all want this game. And we all want the game to be done. We all want the game to be great, and we all hope it is. And if it is, I don't care if it's bad production, because I'll be having fun at that point.
Right. So I would hope that you guys could come up with a new point that has not already been made. But if it's the point that rings true, feel free. So with that, Brandon.
Tim, let's see if Tim has any questions first.
Please, closing questions.
Sorry, such noob questions about this game here.
No,
is there a way of trialing this game without actually paying? So you can
there is during specific times.
Sometimes they do.
Okay.
Yeah, they have free fly.
We will remember to tell you about it when it happens.
Okay. Cody,
I think the last one I did at everyone.
Yeah, well.
Granted, it probably didn't matter, but yeah.
Yeah, because I'm out in left field in this topic.
No, and you're good because a lot of our audience is going to have similar questions to you, and we kind of, since we're all used to this topic, we've
been dealing with this topic for many years. Yeah. So,
Brandon, you put it in message of the day, November 20th, that it was free flight until December 1st. So you are good about announcing it.
Okay, very good. Yeah. I'll wait till that time, I think.
I was going to say, I keep trying to pull more in. There is, I will say right now,
the first hit is free.
Best It is the best it has ever been, and I hope that it continues to get better. But I will have my critical feedback that...
Will I be able to play it on my laptop, this one?
What are your specs?
No.
What?
G5, Dell G515. Core i7, 8th gen?
That's
Does
good.
it have a graphics
Okay,
card?
what graphics card?
Or is it...
You know what? Good question. I'd have to check. You guys can talk, and I'll bump in with what
We'll find out.
Okay.
We can talk about that after.
Okay.
Yeah. That can be our after
All right. Okay.
show.
Yep. Yeah, stay after.
Does
to
it
hear
have
about
Thunderbolt?
Game specs. Yeah.
Does your laptop have Thunderbolt?
Yes.
Then you can get an eGPU and play it.
But you don't have to. It's fine.
Even if your graphics card can't handle it.
Yeah, we can talk about that after.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Cody, do you have yours ready to go? I do, but I am supposed to go last as the host.
Yeah. We haven't been good about that.
Yeah.
I don't have a good one right now. My thing is, I think, and this is going to go contrary to some things, is these patches, when they go live, are important. During Evocati, during the PTU, it is okay to add new systems and be testing the systems. But I think at this point in the release cycle, having things that basically test things better in the Evocati and the PTU, so we don't have bunker missions that when they go into the live build spawn one AI that you can never find. These are the things that make it so players that want to join the game and check this out and then hit this wall, this is what makes them not continue playing this kind of stuff. So be better about the features that go live. Even if, and it sucks because that means features will get pushed back even further because of
But there's a reason you have a public test universe versus
Yep.
the live build.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
And I realize this sucks. If there's a dev watching, I'm sorry. I love your work. But
Hey, if you give us a free javelin, I'll sing your praises, bro. Or chick.
So
don't give him a javelin. Actually, give him a javelin. I'm okay with that. But that is.
I am my opinions are easily bought. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that is what I would say is that it's better for your game as a whole if you, and I guess this is why I'm okay with the game being this late, is that I would rather see better features in fuller development. But that's still an issue too. But yeah, these gameplay breaking bugs in the PU are problematic.
So, just to add, just a touch. I know we're getting like close to going way over, but they almost need to just have a constant PTU and then a constant PU. And when things get polished in PTU, that can roll into PU. But for the people that want a standard, the people that want to actually play the game, don't want to mess with all the new shinies, don't want to have the game-breaking bugs, just want to hop in, play something, they should be able to in the PU and that be a polished experience.
I can't disagree. I like that.
Charlie. Oh, actually, Cody, tell us your pluggables.
I am Cody Stratman. You can find me on Instagram, Zito Valder. You can really find me on YouTube as Striving to Fail. And yeah, there I am. Rock you like a hurricane, I guess. Anyway, Charlie.
So my biggest compliment is their lore building. I cannot tell you how many times they have these periodic releases of chapter book reading that comes out, and that I literally would set calendar reminders on my work computer to remind me to check the website because the next chapter of The Prison Break had come out, and that truly amazing story building. Problem is, it doesn't translate into the fucking game at all.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything. It's just really cool lore building. Yeah, you're not going to have that kind of slow character development in an existing universe, because while you're in that cutscene that won't happen in the PTU, you're going to get fucking blasted. Sorry, I sprinkled some cynicism in there.
You made yourself a shit sandwich.
Yes.
Delicious.
It is.
Bad good.
My name is Charlie Stifler, also known as Milnor, spelled wrong, so I always get it right. You can find me here every week. I've been twitching a little less because I was on vacation, but I'm hoping to get back to Twitch. I will be uploading some gameplay videos of various games. I can assure you, not Star Citizen, to my YouTube channel very soon. Colton?
I mean, I've already kind of said it. Kind of a... Yeah, in terms of what Cody said about an experience, the ideas in my head, and at least the visual aspects and some experience I've had in the limited gameplay I've actually been able to make, some of the screenshots I've been able to get have been just beautiful. And in terms of I joke when I said it's a pretty slideshow, but some of the visuals in this game, at least when you take it, if you take it the overall, like you get up to a planet or a moon and you just see the atmosphere, and you're just the ambiance of some of the music in the background, or you get in a fight and the battle music starts in your head, and you're like, or your headset, and you're like, that's freaking cool as shit. So, some of the experiences are really great visually, and I hope they continue on this path, and I hope we will have systems that can play the damn game when it comes out. And it's not horribly inaffordable, and they're actually available considering our current state in 2022. And the name is Colton Roper, and you could find me on twitch.tv/Seeker4761, where I stream every Tuesday and one other random day of the week, depending on what my schedule is. And you can also find me at Seeker4761 and all the socials. And I guess, Tim, I guess you don't have to say anything about the game, but
no,
what are your pluggables?
So, actually, I am very intrigued. I would like to know, Tim, thumbs up or thumbs down, would you buy this game with everything you've heard about it right this second? Would you go on the website and pledge $45 for the Mustang?
Not at this point. I would wait for the free trial and see if it bites me, and then I'd decide on that point.
Probably the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give my pluggables. Our Thai Journey on YouTube, as well as our Facebook page. Just came back from a 2-week motorcycle ride, and we're going to be I'm going to be working on that starting today. It's just my channel. I'm a Canadian citizenship, and I'm retired here. I brought my wife back. I met her in Canada, and we've been together 12 years. And she's a dual citizen Thai Canadian, and I do the channel more for friends. It's I haven't made any money on it, but it's for friends back home to be amused and entertained, hopefully, by a different way of life over here. And so
that said, you still have like 3,500 subscribers.
You're more of a YouTube channel
not
than
that
any of
much.
us have yet so far.
Just about 1,300, I think. It's about it. But my pledge this year for my New Year's was to make more videos, because during COVID and COVID's been a long period of time, I kind of died in my production, but I hope to make more. So anyway, so on YouTube it's Our Thai Journey, and the Facebook page is Our Thai Journey as well.
Hell yeah.
You're welcome, anybody.
Has died
Like and
a
subscribe,
little bit
motherfuckers.
during
All of
COVID.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
Brandon?
My worst bit about Star Citizen isn't even about its current state. From a pure physics standpoint, I do not think that a true singular universal experience can be had where a person here in the US at connecting at their highest speed, highest least latent connection is going to have a good experience if they try and join someone on the other side of the world, or vice versa. I think that they're just because of the speed of light, without any interference or anything else, without any switching equipment or routers, or if there was a direct connection, is more than what a competitive Twitch style skill shooter would be able to compensate for. I think that they're going to put a lot of time and effort into it. They might get something that is workable for a vast majority of situations, but if they don't eventually compromise and go, okay, you know what, we need a North American server, we need a European server, and we need an Asian server, just like they have it now. I think each of those zones could interoperate within that zone very well. I think that there could be huge servers, persistence, all of that. But I think going, US to Asia or US to Europe, I think that there is going to always be latency problems.
Damn
so
you.
Chris
physics.
Roberts needs to fix the light.
He's got to make a
barrier.
back-end tool to
Got
fix
it.
physics.
I'm sure he'll get to that. It's the next stretch goal.
Quantum
Maybe.
entanglement, maybe. But, yeah,
Timelines, baby.
That's my one thing that it's like, from a server meshing standpoint, just I work in that kind of environment and that kind of industry already with server meshing and server convergence and high availability. I understand the way that works in a normal network. So I don't know what kind of magic that team is going to pull out to be able to make that work. I just, from a physics standpoint, I do not see it working. I wish it could, but that's kind of my one biggest fear is, like, especially with now a decent chunk of friends that we want to play with being so physically separated. I do not see that being a competitive gameplay experience. Like, if we all want to go do a boarding action together,
against other players. I think against AI wouldn't be problematic, but against other players,
right?
Yeah.
AI, you could just go, hey, we're gonna give client side the priority here. But when you're in a PvP, it has to be server authoritative, or you end up like, what was that Amazon? I fucking bought that game, and that
New World.
That was a client authoritative style game, and that's why you could roll and do all this stupid stuff and just not take damage. You could drag the window box around, and you could just sit there on the PvP capture point. You could just sit there, and because your client was not receiving those updates as it was sitting there, moving around and doing all sorts of stuff, you would not take damage. You would capture the point or keep retention of the point as these people are just like blowing you to smithereens. Now, as soon as you stop the window, you take all the damage and you die. But if you're standing on a point, you're not taking damage while you're standing on the point. It counts as a capture point. Server authoritative. This is a bad thing. It works with AI, but server authority needs to be the thing in true PvP scenarios.
Sorry to butt in, but the Noobifier does a very good video on this exact topic. And
yes,
we will link it.
We should link him. Yep.
Yeah, we will link this specific video.
And if you don't mind linking any YouTube videos of starting off in this game.
That's a good call.
Yep.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Yep. We should add the not the initial pitch, but the redesign pitch that they did. What was that? 2 years back?
And then also we'll link some critical articles too.
Not saying a word. Anyways.
Take us home, Brandon.
Okay, well, I'm Brandon Vader, also known as Captain Drac or Captain Dracanus. I get fiber installed on Wednesday, so probably after you are hearing or watching this, I will have fiber and hopefully be starting to stream again. Twitch.tv/capt_drac, CAPT_drac. Yes, I can't wait to be able to do things again and not deal with 6 megabit upload.
I don't have to live in the real fucking world anymore.
Spectrum. Yeah. I also posted up the first article on the techpirate.net in like forever, and it's something that I have been doing wrong for way too long.
I only learned about it about a month ago. So
yeah.
Can you put that link?
Apparently it's been a thing.
Go ahead and tease our viewers. Come
on. There is a better way to manage which audio output device you are using on the fly than to go all the way into the settings. If you're going all the way into the settings, you are doing it wrong.
Yep.
Much simpler, much faster, and yeah, I'm an idiot for not going, oh, it's a carrot. Let's click on the carrot and see what happens.
Ooh, a menu. Ooh, a sub-menu.
Fucking A. Anyway, let me pull this up. Thanks for joining us on this episode of This Week I'm Learning. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts as well as on YouTube at This Week I'm Learning. For you social media peeps out there, you can find us on Twitter at ThisTWIL. If you'd like to contact us, you can of course send an email to twil@thetechpirate.net. And we will see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, my video card is a NVIDIA GTX 1060.
1060.
You might be able to play it.
It'll run it not well.
Yep.
Min said
Certain areas will run better. You could do Arena Commander pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
You can do like stuff in space, no problem. Stuff on
Planet
Microtech is going. Yeah, Microtech is going to be
Pain.
blah. Orison is going to be pain. Any of the cityscapes.
There's some
Can
certain
you actually
parts of the
start
game
on
you can
Port
play
Olisar
well.
anymore or no?
No.
No, you can't.
No, they
That's
took that away.
Orison.
You start on a planet.
Now, granted, none of the combat is in a city. As a matter of fact, you can't do combat in a city. So just get away
Like
from
that.
that and you'll be fine.
Yep.
I hope
guess
they
the-
find
And
But
That's-
upgrading
Hope they
the
add a
computer
way-
right now is probably not the best idea, I guess. I guess hardware prices are a little...
no, don't upgrade.
They're
for this
better.
game.
They're
Do not
better in
upgrade for this
Thailand.
game.
Don't.
Wait. They're better in Thailand than they are in the U.S. I'll say
don't.
that right now.
How much
They are-
better?
Stuff is actually available here too. It's
Right, but is it
my
at a
monitor
decent?
was cheaper, dramatically cheaper in Thailand.
Right, but he
because
doesn't
we are
need a monitor.
closer
He
to
needs he needs a graphics card.
I will go to. I think
And a
we're gonna build
motherboard and
Todd a
CPU.
computer and another guy in our group. So I will go to Fortune Town and take a look for you.
Okay,
But
sounds good.
I'm very curious.
stuff is substantially better as far as availability here than in the West. So it's not. God, I want to use that word in Thai again. I'm losing English.
So Cody, I want to draw attention to something with the international Thai thing. You asked my wife on a Facebook post about Girl Scout cookies if they could be shipped international. She tagged you and said, "With an official importer license, yes."
I saw
And you
it.
did not reply. I baited you so fucking hard, and you did not reply.
He's
I
still
laughed.
wounded.
I
She
laughed,
had no
but I didn't.
idea what that was about, by the way.
No, I did laugh.
Okay.
I didn't. I just didn't post my laugh. But yeah, I laughed at that.
Son of a bitch.
You didn't LOL. You didn't LOL in real life.